Until then, when the game asks if you want to continue, keep playing. This is a visual novel that's a long, interactive exploring of dealing and moving past grief and loss with some very heightened stakes, and it's really touching in a lot of ways. Both is how it handles to the above themes and how just straight up romantic it can get at times. It's all handled well and it's quite the experience to play through. That being said, I didn't find the story to be perfect, as it gets bogged down a little by the science fiction abbreviation they loosely incorporate and structure the game around, which can result in parts of the game feeling a little dragged out. Especially if you are familiar with these types of stories, you will be able to predict a lot of the later story bits, but it's not a huge distractor at all. The game also looks really nice. I think the pixel art 3D blend done here works quite well. Occasionally I had say the zoom in a bit too far on a certain characters, low res sparkles, which ends up looking pretty goofy, but most of the time it's done well. Some notably really nice work with the expressions of characters throughout. Even the lowest res pixel sprites are extremely expressive in a natural way. And the stars of the show, they are really as the characters. They are all really likable and well developed. And due to the structure of the story link, you get to see them from all kinds of different perspectives. You really do end up waiting to save each and every one. Without any spoilers, but while drawing comparisons between this game and another titles within the visual novel space. Until then, this is my opinion. One of the greatest titles to come out in the more idle type format in the past decade. For fans of visual novels, this game slightly hits the same beats as Steins Gate and the Higurashi When They Cry series in certain ways, and has some very engaging player-based decisions made similar to a little like Persona. Let's drop all the compression through, because it's unfair to this game. Until then, certainly explores themes of loss, friendships and trauma, all packed in one of the most nostalgia comforting experiences I have ever played in my life. Perhaps it's a component of the memories I have of 2D pixel art inspired story games. Things like Pokemon and Drawn to Life or the Nintendo DS, but until then takes this classic beyond art style and transforms it for players into 24 in a breeze interface. This game somehow balances the artistic simplicity that draws people into the charm of those old school games, while challenging, vibrant, and frequent anime-inspired cutscenes that brings the characters to life. And when I tell you to make all the difference, it absolutely does. I will dive a bit more into writing, because the unreliable charm of this game's graphics aren't even its main focus or selling point for me. And I had argued most of the people with a strong gravitation to emotionally charged storytelling characters as a backbone that really allows such emotions too far. Another take that I really have about my visual art from it's what when portraying deeply personal and internal emotional turmoil. The outward portrayal of that I everything for building a strong and play immersive experience. Until then absolutely nails this on all fronts. The male course of this game feels unbelievable, aesthetic, something deeply important when exploring a deeply human story. I want to say anything more, you really must experience this game for yourself, but if you have felt loose or deeply resonated with stories of self-discovery, growth, coming of age, anything of the sort, until then, is absolutely a game that I believe deserves all the attention in the world moving forward, one that will not leave you disappointed. The game is set in Indonesia after a large catastrophic series of natural disasters, and just like a space for Unbound. And just like it's that game, I found it very cool to experience that little very specific slice of culture. There is also something to be said about now just straight up cozy. I found parts of this game, especially the early points, a lot of scenes where the main character lies in bed at night browsing Facebook and dimming friends, lit only by the screen of his phone. This is probably just a result of being around the same age as some of the developers of this game, but this is an experience I had a lot during the period as well and haven't really thought about science, and all that just come rushing back. Try as you might, nostalgia always gets you. I love the game so much. The story is just flat out amazing. A lot of thought and care went into this game, and the fact that this captures the Filipino identity so well is a testament to that. I also love the small details like the shop names, the Filipino reversives and such. My most favorite is when I get to interact my phone because for such a small part of the game, it's probably the most detailed interpretation. The best part of the game is the art. To the people that did the art to the game, kudos to all you. You guys are amazing and I can see how carefully and detailed each and every asset you made in the game. All in all, this is such a great experience. So yeah, it's a good one. Is recommended if you like a nice story visual novel.